Hey guys, Evan Orrick here, back in another video, and today we're going to be doing a review on the McFaralane Toys Riddler 2022 figure. So this figure is a really nice figure. This is of course the first review that I am doing of all the stuff I got for my birthday, plus the one thing that still hasn't arrived yet that I said was supposed to be a birthday gift but didn't end up coming in my birthday haul. I remember mentioning that, so that too on top of what I'm reviewing right now. So we have plenty of reviews coming up for this month, maybe going into June, I'm not sure yet, we'll see. But again, when it comes to this figure, I just want to say my favorite pro right off the bat, the articulation of this figure. I believe the articulation of this is really well done. Again, this was made by McFaralane Toys. I believe I'm right on that one. So yeah, but it feels like a NECA figure, even though it's not a NECA figure. And that's, of course, a compliment to its articulation, because as we all know, NECA is quite good with its articulation. We have joints in kind of all, really all areas. This like arm here, this joint here, of course, this, and then the hand joint. Same applies to the other side, the wrist joints. Head doesn't move 360, which I'm going to get into later as a con. We also have some leg movements here. So in terms of articulation, it's really well made, and I think you can do lots of cool poses with it, and that's why I think the articulation on this figure is the best part about this figure. The next thing I like about this figure is the detail. Now, the detail on this figure isn't extraordinary. I'd like to say it's slightly above average, while the articulation was well above average. So again, this being slightly above average, I say that because the details on his trench coat. As we all know, this is the design of the Riddler in the most recent Batman movie, and his trench coat is pretty much the Riddler. I mean, that's how you identify him, at least in the film. And what I like so much about it is you get to see the wrinkles of the trench coat, like the worn detail on, and that is a very hard thing to do as far as detail goes. And it really helps with photography and all kinds of things that you want to pose to this figure. So the detail on this is really nice. You do get some wrinkles on the areas of the pants going into the trench boots. Some wrinkles on the hoodie there, also really nice. Facial detail, it's kind of just a mask, a plain green mask with goggles on it. So I can't necessarily say that the facial detail is so great, but everything else as far as the detail goes is really nicely done, and is one of the reasons why I like the detail on this figure. The next thing I like about this figure, which is a solid average, is the paint job. Now, the paint job on this figure is, in my opinion, as I said, average, and that's because there isn't really that many colors. You, of course, have, I'd like to say, the casual green color, this green color, which we see all over, the black, and the lighter green, which we see around the hoodie right here. So, of course, it's a two-layer clothing. We have the actual hoodie, green hoodie, and then the green trench coat. So then all of that makes up the Riddler's outfit. Also, I guess the white here, but it's not really painted. It's kind of more so the material that it's made out of. So I don't know if I'd count that as paint job. Maybe I'm wrong in that regard. But in general, you really just have three colors, and they're kind of generic, and they don't really stand out in many ways. None of them are, of course, booming, because this is like a swampy green. So with that being said, let's get into the cons of this figure. Alright, so as far as the cons of this figure, I believe the biggest con is the size of this. Now, the size of this figure, I can't really say it's not size accurate, because I don't actually have the Batman figure from the movie to compare it to, because I easily would. But this figure is most definitely above 6 inches, probably 7.5 inches actually. So it's quite tall, and it's a little bit off-putting because most of these figures are made in the form of 6 inches. And I know that's more so of a nitpick, but I consider it to be, at least, if a nitpick, at least the biggest nitpick of all, because I don't know, the size is just kind of weird. I don't know why they went with 7 inches and not 6. I get there might have been some issues with making the figure, and it could have gone over their estimates in terms of how big it was going to be. But 7 inches, it's kind of like, why? I mean, this doesn't really need to be 7 inches. It's just deserving of the actual 6-inch style. So that's the biggest nitpick of all, if I were to consider that to be a nitpick. The next biggest nitpick is the issues involving the legs right here. Now, the legs and the feet are able to stand, but there are moments, and I believe you might have saw as I was holding it down to the leg here as we were cutting into different parts of the video, I had to hold it because at some points, like that one, it doesn't stand properly. I'm not setting it up that way. This ball joint, this is fine. It's a little bit loose, but it's fine. This is the really loose one. I don't know why that is. As you can see, if I just were to like tap it a little bit, it looks like it's just, you know, going up and down. That's how you can tell it's really wiggly. See, look at this. Very wiggly. This one is slightly wiggly, but it's tolerable. In general, it's hard to make it stand with the way it is. It can stand. If it wasn't able to stand, that would be like a whole point off. But because it's in the end able to stand, it's only like half a point off. So yeah, it's just this that's bothering me. I believe it could have done a better job with the leg joint there. So that's the issue with that. The smallest nitpick of all, and I do mean this in a very small way, and this is going back to the point of articulation. Even though the articulation is the best part about this figure, facial articulation is fairly bad, and it does not go 360. I'm not saying it should naturally go 360, but the problem is that when you move it, it feels inclined to go back this way, Like as if you stretch it this way, it kind of like falls back into place. And that's because the material, this white material right here, that is supposed to be the back of his head connecting to the eyes and the glasses. I don't know what material it's made out of. It's kind of like a stretchy plastic, and it makes it hard for the head to move. So that is something you guys are going to easily expect. I don't know if you guys are going to like that or not. Maybe not. Maybe you will. Not too sure. But in general, I would rate this figure an 8.7 out of 10. I genuinely think that it is a very good figure, and I highly recommend getting it. It's just, of course, it has its little nitpicks there, and the good part is it doesn't have at least any major cons. So without further ado, guys, remember, reviews are back. Expect more to come. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.